I'm your host on today's live NFL podcast. We are going to talk about the Cowboys winning, the Lions possibly getting robbed. We're going to talk about the Ravens and the 49ers clinching, the Cardinals upsetting Philly, and we're going to go into all the playoff possibilities, scenarios, and then pick our favorite matchup for wild card weekend that we're looking forward to. And to do that with me is my co-host Isaac, who is playing injured today. Isaac, how's it going, man?
It's going, bro. It's going. I'm a little stuffed up today. That's why we couldn't get on yesterday, guys. But I'm gonna try and tough it out today, Ryan. I'm gonna try and tough it out.
I hear you. Well, and everybody else can hear you. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Robbie
I told him
Glove
he
in the
didn't have.
house. What
What's
up,
that?
Robbie Glove? Rob's
What's
in
up,
here.
Rob? What's up, Rob? You're getting better though, so that's good. Just still a little bit stuffed up. So hopefully
Yeah.
the listeners don't mind, but we gotta. You wanted to truck on, so we're gonna truck on here today.
Gotta do it.
Gotta do it. That's right. That's right. Well, why don't we just get right into our first NFL headline today, Isaac, and let's go to the Dallas Cowboys beating the Detroit Lions. That was happened on Saturday's edition of Monday Night Football. So that was confusing. I don't know if you know that, but it was Saturday edition of Monday Night Football. The Cowboys
Yeah.
beat the Lions 20-19. And at first, Isaac, while we talk about this game, I'd like to bury the lead, so to speak. I don't want to talk about the officiating right away. Okay,
Okay.
that 2 point. I just want to talk about the game itself. And because I don't want to overlook how well this game was played by both teams, like how fun of a game it was. So just right before we get to the officiating part, what were your thoughts on the game, the Cowboys and the Lions?
First, Rob just said, is that the Ryan that plays on our team on 2K? Yes, this is the same Ryan, Rob.
Yeah, sorry to disappoint you. He's like, man, he's ugly.
But yeah, it's we talked about this in our quick reaction. The refs definitely robbed the Lions. That was the worst call I've ever seen in my life. Especially like what we talked about in the quick reaction too, Ryan, when you showed me the video of Decker. Is it Taylor Decker? Was that the guy?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he checked it into the ref. You see it clear as day, but then they said that 70's the one that said, or something like that, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
70 was nowhere near the ref.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that. I got more information on that as well.
It's just it was terrible. I thought that was garbage, but um the Lions had three opportunities though to kick the extra point and to tie it, which I think they should have after that terrible call. I know it should have never got to that point. Lions should have won that game. Two-point conversion was successful, but they got backed up all the way to what, the 10
It was a 7, yeah.
or the 7.
Yeah.
You got to kick that extra point, bro, and just like you got robbed, but you play to live on. You play to live on. See what happens in overtime. I don't think they should have did that. There was a flag though on the Cowboys, pushed them back to where they originally was. So I get why they were like, "Oh, sweet, like we'll do it again." Jared Goff just threw a terrible pass, but I still think like because of the situation and because of how everybody was emotional and upset at that call, I think you just like regroup, kick the extra point, and play it overtime. But I understood why he was so aggressive. He was upset. Dan Campbell was upset. The Lions were upset. But in my opinion, you kick the extra point, bro, because there's too many emotions. Everybody's upset. Everybody's like, we should have won this. We should have won this. That was good. That was BS. Whoop-de-woo. That's why I feel like, they could convert those last two times. So, just kick the field goal, bro.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that. Is they should have definitely kicked the field goal at the 7. But the one thing that I think somebody brought out on Twitter, I can't remember, is what they said was basically there was no win for the Lions except because if they lose, they're the 3 seed, basically, right? If they win, they have a chance to 2 or 1 seed, so they were just trying to go for the win there. It's not that I agree with that, but I'm with you. I would have kicked the field goal. I thought that Dak Prescott played a really good game. I want to give him credit.
Yes, he did.
And so did CD Lamb. Lamb was a beast. Like they could not stop Lamb. Lamb had 13 receptions for 227 yards and a touchdown. He continues to like get better week after week after week. So I actually like CD Lamb there, his performance, and unfortunately because of everything that happened, that's the part that gets overlooked. What
Right.
also got overlooked is Jared Goff having a terrible interception that almost lost them the game. McCarthy's coaching job was really awful in that game, where they had a uh, ability to run out the clock, so to speak, not all the way, but to a certain extent. And
Right.
he had the Cowboys passing the ball and saving time for the Lions within that 2 minutes, and gave the Lions enough time to go downfield and score that touchdown that potentially could have won them the game or tied the game. So there was a lot of other stuff that happened in that game that's worth noting. Laporta, he was getting destroyed in the first half. He couldn't block anyone. In the second half, he kind of came around as far as his receiving. He had a really good game, and so did Brown. So I just wanted to acknowledge those things, that um, it was a fun game, and there were players that should be acknowledged for their performance, because again, a fun game to watch.
Yes, it was. CD Lamb, 227 receiving yards. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Brandon Cooks
he
had a
was a
good game
beast.
too.
Hmm.
Um, and St. Brown for the Lions was really good. So
I agree. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just that was like that's got to be like one of the best NFL games I've seen this year. That was a good back and forth battle. It just sucked that it ended the way it did. You know,
Hmm.
you would love to see that game go into overtime, or Detroit pulling that win off. Jared Goff with that beautiful drive, that game winning drive under 2 minutes. That was just beautiful.
Yeah.
That whole drive
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah, it makes you wonder why they didn't what's it called there? They didn't play a little bit more up tempo throughout the game, like off and on.
Hmm.
Because once they went up tempo, it was like they were kind of moving downfield. Teams should do it more. Teams don't do it enough, in my opinion, but that's that's uh that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
What I will okay, so let's anything else on the game other than the officiating, because then we're going to talk about the officiating a little bit.
Well, I think that's what draws this game. This is what this game is about. It's the officiating at the end there. That's what makes this such a big headline. You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we can get right
It
into it.
yeah, it's the headline for all the wrong reasons. This is
All wrong
not why you
reasons.
want this game being in the headline. So, I do want to just clarify something, because obviously we did an instant reaction, and there still would have been 21 second left, and I think Dallas had 2 timeouts, and we've seen like the Chiefs travel 13 seconds with 0 timeouts. So it's not like the Lions for sure would have won that game. It definitely took away the opportunity for the Lions to win the game. So everything that happened, and everything I've listened to, what I understand, and so I'm a Lions fan for those who don't know, is that the entire game they were setting up for this deception against the Cowboys. Like they kept on checking in number 70 over
Hmm.
and over again, like a couple times. I shouldn't say it was a ton of times, but a couple times. And I think what happened, the ref saw 70 coming from the sideline, and he heard 68 report, which was Decker, and he assumed for whatever reason it was 70. Like he wasn't in the moment. He was trying, what, I don't know what he was doing. And so because he assumed it was 70, it cost the Lions an opportunity to win the game. That's what I'm understanding. Although Dan Campbell explained it to him pregame, although all the players did what they needed to do, um, the NFL officiator, I think his name is Brad Allen, he just did not get it. And because of that, that ended up costing the Lions an opportunity to win that game.
How do you think he's feeling right now? Waking up the next day and realizing he messed up, or is he still not
Well,
taking any accountability for that?
that's the other thing. He said 70 reported, but when you look at the video, it's clear that 68 reported. He nodded at 68. but I think he was looking at 70 coming off the sideline, and his brain didn't put two and two together. Like, or his
How do
brain
you mess
put,
that up, bro?
I don't know. But his officiating crew has been awful all year, though. He blew a couple other games,
Really?
including the Green Bay Kansas City Chief game where MVS got pass interfered with down the stretch, and they didn't call it, and it was clear pass interference. So
Oh wow.
and now it sounds like even though the NFL didn't really, they kind of blame the Lions, but they it was reported that officiating crew will not be report officiating in the playoffs.
True. They still don't deserve to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Rob said
So
emotional damage.
yeah, yeah, tell me about it, man. Yeah, yeah. It was a rough night. Like we did an instant reaction, but even the next day was a little tough for me because it was just like, what are we? And it's always the Cowboys. That's the problem I have. It's like it's not, and for Cowboys fans who listen, I just want to be very clear. This is not an indictment on your team. I'm not saying you guys didn't deserve a chance to win the game or whatever. Or you guys, what I'm saying is the refs made this game. You guys should be mad at the refs too, because instead of the topic being about Dak
Cowboys
being
winning. Yep.
right, the Cowboys winning, Dak being an MVP candidate, or CeeDee Lamb monster game. It's now about the officiating, and I'm not one who's going to blame the Cowboys for the poor officiating. I'm just saying, like, it stinks because it takes away from all the cool storylines that we could have had coming out of this game. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
That makes
So,
sense.
so it's frustrating. I love Rex Ryan because teams were trying to like blame the players, and Rex Ryan's like, "Why are we blaming the players?" Like somebody said, "Well, Decker should have made sure he was reported." And I'm thinking to myself, so he went and he reported. The ref nodded, looked at him and nodded, right? What else does he have to do to think that the ref heard that he reported, right?
Right.
So I don't understand the blaming of players. This is squarely on the NFL officiating and the NFL. It's not on the Cowboys and it's not on the Lions. And this stuff cannot happen again. That's my overall thought on it.
No, it can't. And I think that's why the NFL doesn't have this officiating crew in the playoffs. Because if this were to happen in the playoffs, and I said this in the quick reaction, if this happened in the playoffs
Yeah.
and this cost the Lions to get eliminated,
Hmm.
oh man, this would have been way worse than it is.
Well, think about do you remember the Rams and Saints NFC
Yeah,
Championship game?
you were telling me about that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like that cost the Saints a chance to win the Super Bowl, to
was
go and
Goff
win the Super Bowl.
was Goff the quarterback for the Rams?
Yeah, that was when
Yeah,
Goff got to the Super Bowl.
when it
Yeah.
was the Rams and the Pats that year,
Hmm.
right? Yep, yep. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember that game fully, but that's crazy. Refs got to do better, man.
Well, and I think part of it's on the NFL because they changed nothing. Like they tried to put the fact that you could challenge pass interference in so that doesn't happen, and then they like totally screw it up. Like they on purposely don't do it. So it's on the refs too. Like I mean the NFL too to help the refs out so that they don't screw up.
It's garbage, man.
So
I just don't understand. Like they're and these refs are getting paid. Like how much do refs make in the NFL and the NBA? Like
I'm not
professional,
sure.
like I know they're not getting paid like minimum wage. They're not getting paid 40,000 a year.
No, no.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like they're getting
Right. Yep.
paid. They're getting paid to just make the correct calls. And, as much as people are like, oh, it's happening fast time, there's no excuse for this.
Right. No. Well, find a way to fix it. Like, why?
Like, how do you,
Yes, it's happened. So why don't you find ways to improve? We have the technology to improve that.
right.
I
Well,
don't know.
why couldn't they review that and be like, oh, I threw this flag. Oh, let me make sure that I got it right.
Because what happened was he then went and reported to the defense the wrong number. So he told them 70 was eligible. Now, if you look at the play, 70 did not line up in a position where he could be an eligible wide receiver, which is hilarious to just show that the Lions clearly wasn't, 70 wasn't the guy, right? So once you report to the defense, then the defense is looking at 70 and they're not looking at 68. So now I'm not saying that would have changed the outcome of the play, but at least it would have gave the defense a fair warning. So I kind of understand that aspect of it. So once the play, they should have just redone the play maybe or something like that, like redo the play. That's the only way you could have done it if you reviewed it. But
Right. Well, I'm going to tell you
um,
this: the Cowboys don't want to see Detroit in the playoffs because Detroit's going to have this as a revenge game heading into the postseason.
oh,
Especially
for
if it's
sure.
back in Dallas too, because that's where it's going to have to be. They stripped Detroit having home field advantage in the first round, and now Dallas got a home field because
Yeah.
so this is
Yeah, it was a
that
huge
changed
call.
everything.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. The other thing I wanted to call out though is like there was a podcast I listened to. I listened to him a lot. His name's Bill Simmons, and he talked about and I know people probably know Bill Simmons, but I'm just he's a Boston sports fan, but he was talking about how he was kind of giving the refs an excuse, like, oh, it's a big game, it's prime time, why, and all this and that. And then it's like, wait a second. So do we give that same excuse to the players? Like if Jared Goff throws an interception, are we like, well, it's a big game, it's prime time, everybody's watching, you're trying not to screw up, like, and he throws a pick? Are you like, oh,
Bro, this isn't the Super Bowl.
right? Well, and the thing is that's what you're paid to do. You're paid to
Right? No,
ref
no,
in
that's
those moments.
terrible.
So
Bill
that's
Simmons,
an awful excuse.
I'm
That's all
ashamed
I'm
of
saying.
you. I'm
Yeah,
ashamed of
come on,
you.
Bill.
You're not
Come on, Bill.
representing Boston correctly.
Yeah, come on, Bill. You're better than that. I love Bill Simmons, by the way. So I'm not
I do
gonna sit here
too,
and
but
trash him.
that's
Yeah.
garbage.
Yeah, that is garbage. Garbage. Okay. Anything else on this game? Any comments that we need to catch up on?
No.
Okay. Okay. Let's go to our next headline then. The Ravens and the 49ers, this last week both clinched the number one seed and both did it in dominating fashions because of, well, the Niners got sort of more of an easier easier team to beat. The I think the Commanders
Absolutely.
they ended up being. Yep. But the Ravens just destroyed the Dolphins. As a Dolphins fan, uh, that was rough.
Yeah.
So thoughts on these? You could take either game. Any thoughts on either one of these games that you want to discuss?
Are the Ravens the team to beat? Are they the favorites to win the Super Bowl, Ryan? That should be the question right here because
Oh yeah,
Lamar is on another level. This
correct.
Ravens team is very scary. They destroyed the number one seed in the AFC, or that was tied with them with the number one seed in the AFC this week. And last week, they destroyed these same 49ers the same way they did the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't close.
Yeah, I'm with you. Not only do I think that this is the team to beat right now, I would say that Lamar Jackson is the heavy favorite for the MVP right now. That would get my vote because not only has he won, but he's won like really big games.
Right.
So,
And I think
yeah.
that's why he's in the MVP race, or
Hmm.
he's going to win the MVP because he beat Brock Purdy and then he just beat Tua and the Dolphins
Yep.
with
Yeah.
and Tyreek Hill and everything. So
And it's not just beating them. They
destroyed
like
them,
got
right?
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Now I would say, 5 touchdowns against the Niners, or against the Dolphins, I'm sorry. And against the Niners, um, he threw only 2 touchdowns. I mean, it's still great. No interceptions.
Hmm.
Protected the football. But what I will say is when you look at his stats, when you look at Lamar's stats, they don't really wow me this year. Only 24 touchdowns. He still hasn't cracked the 4,000-yard mark.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's just
Yeah.
the team. And what's crazy is in the offseason, he was trying to leave this team. He
Yeah.
wanted out. The only addition that they added this year was really Odell Beckham Jr. And Odell really hasn't really played that much this year.
Yeah, they added
I mean, Zay Flowers in the
didn't
draft,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. And
but
he's been really good. But yeah,
yeah,
I agree.
it's
it's
just
it
go
it
ahead.
hasn't been like, yeah, no, I agree. Like his stats aren't overwhelming. Now he does run the ball, um, which, is part of the reason why he's so dynamic.
Right.
Um, so like you said, he's let's see here. I just wanted to see his rushing numbers
Well,
for this
he
year.
got over
He's
800 rushing yards, which I
yeah,
understand, but
and
like when
five
he won the
touchdowns.
MVP the first time, he had like what, like 10, 12 rushing touchdowns over a 1200 yards rushing. Like he's not gonna. I don't think like he would have to rush for over 200 yards next week to get past 1,000 rushing yards.
Well, I think it just shows how like weak the case for MVPs are this year too, right? Like
Yeah,
that
I mean, look at
nobody
Brock
like
Purdy though too. Brock Purdy got good numbers.
right, but the argument against him would be some
He
some
lost to
big games.
Lamar. Yeah, that he
Yeah,
lost,
it's some
right?
big games he didn't show. Yeah,
And he
he
threw
like
those
last week
four. What he threw
against
four
yeah.
picks against
Yeah, it was
Baltimore.
rough.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I
So
understand, but it's like you would. I just for me personally, I'm not saying Lamar's not great. He doesn't deserve it. They're the number one seed. They beat all the teams. He threw 5 touchdowns against Miami last or on Sunday. But I was just expecting more numbers, like maybe like close to like 5,000 passing yards,
oh sure,
close to
sure.
like
Yeah.
46 passing touchdowns and low interception rates.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
and he's
seven
only ran into the
and
ball in 5 times.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree, but this is what like this is he's out of all the other quarterbacks though, he's been probably the most consistent and the best considering some of the pressure situations he's been in. But like this is the problem with the MVP too, is like it's now like recency biased, right? Like it's
Right.
what he's done.
Or who have you played, right?
Sure,
Who have you
sure.
beaten?
Right, yeah, and I think that matters to an extent, but it's definitely like people are looking at these last couple weeks and are like, okay, that's why he's MVP and not like his whole body of work.
Right. Yeah, and I understand. I mean, he's rushed over close to 1,000 yards, so I get that aspect, but he's not even in the top 10 in passing yards. He's not. I mean, he's tied for top 10 in passing touchdowns. So I guess, and rushing yards for obviously for a quarterback, he's leading that. But
Right.
I was just expecting better numbers. Like I looked at Lamar's numbers, and I just wasn't really wowed like that. Really,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
No,
I don't
it's
know.
true.
Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm.
No, no, you're right because this is like like again though, like who would you give it to? You can make a case for
I
you
always
you
thought it
talk
was the person, or the quarterback that had the most passing yards that would win it. Wasn't that how it was recently? How they would judge that?
well, it's passing yards, most
Most
touchdowns, and then you
touchdowns,
always look at team record too. So,
right? And
you
like the
know,
touchdown to interception ratio matters.
yeah, yeah. So I
Yep.
don't know, man. Yeah, it's tough because like to me, I think it's Lamar because nobody separate themselves that much though. Because like when you think about
Right.
most, it's like almost 40 touchdowns, it's almost 5,000 yards, something like that. But nobody's doing that this year. So
Tua
it's
almost
usually
doing that.
what's that?
Tua's close to getting 5,000 passing yards.
Yeah, but like too, like in this game, like
Right.
it's funny because we haven't talked about the Miami side, but like somebody said it properly, which I think is right. Is like Tua's just not a game changer, right? He's a really good quarterback, great quarterback
I
at
agree.
times, but he's not a game changer. And so when you go up against quarterbacks like Lamar, maybe Mahomes or Burrow, and those guys are like game changers. And I just think that's the difference between him and the next level of quarterbacks. In this game, you kind of saw it, you
Right.
know,
No,
again.
I totally agree. And I'm not knocking if Lamar wins it, he deserves it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying anything like that, but I was just it's just we're just in a different era, I guess, in the NFL. I'm so used to like passing quarterbacks Tom
Or
Brady,
it's just
Peyton
a weird
Manning,
year. It could be
Aaron
just a weird
Rodgers.
year, right?
Yeah, this is a very weird year for
Yeah.
everything, you know.
Like
But
we'll
go ahead.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, but you sent me the numbers yesterday for Jordan Love. I'm like, whoa, I couldn't believe some of the numbers.
Bro,
Now,
you
if
saw
you watch
that?
him play, yeah, when you watch him play, he doesn't pass the eye test. Like the numbers in the eye test doesn't match. Similar to like Lamar, right? The Lamar Jackson, what I see from him and his numbers are not always like it doesn't kind of match up when you think about it. You think that he'd have better numbers versus Jordan Love. It's like I don't
Right.
think he'd have as good as numbers, but
Exactly.
he has good numbers.
But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like the Ravens as a team are just so good this year. Their defense is so good. I think John Harbaugh's done a very good job this year with setting up this team, this franchise around Lamar. Because, like
Hmm.
I said, I thought the Ravens were falling apart before the NFL season started.
Yeah.
Lamar didn't want no part of this team. Like
Well,
he
he just
felt like the
wanted
pieces
he
around
wanted a
him.
contract though, right? Like that
Well,
was his big thing.
but that's what I'm saying. But like you're not doing that if you feel as though you could win a Super Bowl, though, Ryan. It
Not
does the money
everybody's Tom
really?
Brady though.
Well, that's what I don't know. I heard Peyton Manning took pay cuts too in those Denver Bronco years. Shannon
I
Sharp. I
think
was
he was
watching
the
Shannon
highest
Sharp's.
pay. He was the highest paid quarterback one of those years.
When they won the
But
Super Bowl.
I would think it was the year before they won the Super Bowl.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'd have to double check, but I know he was the highest paid quarterback one of those years because that was when I did like research, that was one of the things I noticed when people were kind of roughing up Aaron Rodgers for
Yeah.
taking the money. It's like, well, yeah, but all these other quarterbacks did and their teams got people around them and won championships. So
Right.
I'd have to look at
Well,
that. Yeah.
that's what's crazy too is Lamar got the bag, and look how they're
Uh-huh.
playing. Look at all that drama during the offseason and look how they're playing, bro. Like that's what's blowing my mind. Usually with all that offseason drama, you're not going to have a good relationship with your coach and your teammates, you know, when you make it about yourself. But
Correct.
this, like I said, we're in a whole different era and generation now where, man, bro, it's crazy. Like this NFL season's just so weird, like you said.
Yeah, and I just want to be fair to Lamar. I'm not going to sit there and say, well, he kind of made it about himself. It's like the going rate for quarterbacks. It's like you it's like if Mahomes gets a ton of money and he deserves it, obviously he won Super Bowl, so it's a little different.
Yeah, that is different.
Or Burrow, let's say Burrow, like the Burrow money Burrow got. Like, to be fair to Lamar, I would want something similar to him too. So, um,
I'm like I said, I'm not knocking him for taking the money. He's a
sure,
mobile quarterback. He's
sure.
his career. I would say if he continues running like this, isn't gonna last very long in the league either. You know,
Yeah,
like how many more years do you think Lamar got at this high level of being mobile? Probably like
well,
4 years, maybe.
yeah, what's been impressive though with him, what I would say is that his passing this year, that he finally got some weapons. And think about it, he's missing his favorite weapon in Mark Andrews this year too. Like he's out for the year. Uh, Earlier this year he went out. So, um, like when I watch him, some of the throws he makes, some of the passes tell me that he could be, if he wanted to, maybe a little bit more of a pocket passer.
Right.
What it would limit some of the more explosive plays, but at the same time, he would still get explosive plays with his arm. I think so.
I
It
feel like
just
Lamar has
depends.
improved in the passing game too. Like before, like
Yes, for sure.
compared to his rookie year and the year he won the
Sure.
MVP, he has done tremendously. I feel like he has
Correct.
um expanded his game and his mindset and his IQ for the game, I should say, way better than he did when he won the MVP the first year,
Agreed.
his first year.
Yeah. His
So,
weapons are better too. Yeah.
well, that's what I'm saying too. And and
Yeah.
and and OBJ really hasn't played a lot, and that was his main purpose for re-signing, wasn't it? Was the
Hmm.
OBJ with them getting OBJ, and like OBJ really hasn't played that much. He's been hurt a lot,
Hmm.
you know. So that's what's like really like, how are the Ravens the best team in the NFL and
They're
doing it?
they're
Go ahead.
Yeah, their defense has been solid, like really aggressive. I think that's part of the reason why, the Dolphins lost. It wasn't that the Dolphins couldn't move the ball on them. Like, if you look at the Dolphins stats, like Tua moved the ball. I know Tyreek dropped a touchdown. Um, the Dolphins ran. This is a problem. One of the biggest problems I have with McDaniels, and it's the same problem like you'd have with Andy Reid. When they ran the ball, they ran for 6.2 yards a carry, the Dolphins did. They only ran the ball 17 times. Like I would have just kept running down their throats the first half. That's how they move the ball real well. And then they kind of just, I think McDaniels wants to make Tua this great thing, which is good, but like and then the game kind of got away from them too. That part matters. But like even in the first half, I didn't think they ran the ball as much as they should have in the first half watching that game. So like the Dolphins move the ball, but their defense is so like aggressive, opportunistic. Like they get two interceptions from Tua, make big plays, and their offense can score quick and fast. So it's crazy to me to think that these two teams, well, not the Niners. The Niners, I thought at the beginning of the season was the best team in the NFC. The Ravens being the best team in the AFC is just a little bit of a shock. Not a horrible shock, but a shock enough where I'm just like, yeah, I agree with you. I don't like being the best team 13-3. I'm with you on that. That's crazy.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. It's like when the season started, did anybody have Baltimore as a number one seed this year? I didn't. With all the
I
drama
don't.
surrounding them this
Yeah.
offseason, I didn't have the rate. I thought, maybe they could have made the playoffs with OBJ, but I wasn't like wow. Like I wasn't like, oh yeah, watch out for the Ravens this year.
Right. I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I didn't think it was going to be the Ravens. But I thought it was going to be the Chiefs, and we see how that has turned out. So,
Oh man.
yeah. So right now, would you say this is your Super Bowl matchup if you had to pick today?
I I'm gonna stick with this. I said it on Twitter. I think Baltimore's gonna get upset like they did when Lamar won the MVP that one year. I forgot what year it
Mm,
was. Was that in 2020 or 2019?
yeah, I think 2019.
2019. I think
Yeah.
they're gonna get bounced in the first round again. That's
Ah,
my
really?
prediction. Yes, I do. To the Cleveland Browns, to Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's about to go into Baltimore, and that's what I'm saying. That is gonna be a game. That is gonna be a great freaking game. Division rivals, the Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens, Joe Flacco beating the guy that took his job. Joe Flacco, a Super Bowl winning quarterback, Joe Flacco for the Baltimore Ravens. Just think about that ride. That's gonna be I'm rooting for the Browns in that aspect. If they meet in the playoffs, I'm going for the
The Bro
Browns.
I'm pulling for the Browns too. I'm going to pick this as the Super Bowl matchup right now because I just think that Lamar is playing better, and the defense is good. But the Browns are the one team that I would be scared of
Yes.
if I'm the Ravens
Oh,
because they play
absolutely.
you twice a year. Their defense
And
is
the
really
Ravens
good.
did beat them. I mean, the Browns did beat them. I think that was their
Yeah,
last loss, right?
might be, might
Yes,
be.
that
Yeah.
was their last loss
So
the Ravens took this year. So I'm just saying that wouldn't that be something? Joe Flacco, you remember him? He won you guys a
yep,
Super Bowl.
yep,
Goes into that field. He knows that. He knows those fans. He knows that stadium. He knows that coach.
yep.
Goes up in there and rips your heart right out your chest.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll talk about playoff matchups actually, what we're looking forward to in the first round. The way
Yeah.
it's set up now though, so we'll talk about that when we get there. Um let's move on to our next topic. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this headline, but I thought, with what happened in the Cowboys game, and what happened with the Niners, part of the reason why they got the number one seed is because of the Philadelphia Eagles being upset by the Arizona Cardinals. And I really just wanted to talk about this because I want to ask, what is your faith right now in the Philadelphia Eagles? Like, how are we feeling about the Eagles right now?
They're definitely not the same um, from last year when they went to the Super Bowl. This is not the same team, bro. This is not the
No.
same team. And I feel like Nick Sirianni isn't doing a very good job. I feel like
Mm,
there's no. I think that relationship between Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni is shot.
hmm
I just don't see it's not the same team. They look like They look terrible, bro. I don't have no faith in them heading into the playoffs. Um, I feel like this is the Cowboy. I think the Cowboys are going to win the NFC East. That's a terrible loss. You can't lose to the 3-12 or 3-13 Cardinals. What
Correct.
is wrong with you guys? Especially at this
Yeah.
end of the year. Philly had it locked in, locked up to
Yeah.
be the number 2 seed. Possibly they could still, if they would have won that game, they'd still be in contention to even win the number 1 seed, right? If they would have won next week. And is that true?
Yeah, yeah. If they would have just won the last two games, they were not only in contention for the number one seed. I think the Niners, if they won, they still got it, but they
Right.
also would have won their division, which was the more important when you have just the Cardinals, and I think they have the Giants coming up. So when you just have those two
Two
matchups,
easy
you
games.
think it should be, easy, but piece of cake, so to speak. But they blew it, they
They
blew it.
definitely did.
Um, yeah, not the same team. I also like, again, I'm gonna give this is where I kind of agree with Bill Simmons when I was listening to his podcast. He said, "Would we be 100% surprised if we heard that like Jalen Hurts ended up coming out with like an injury of some sort, like not to use it as excuse, but he's just not playing like he did last year. Like he is it does seem like there's something wrong with him. Like a
Yeah.
shoulder injury or a leg injury. You know what I'm saying? Would we be surprised? I wouldn't be personally.
Yeah. This is
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Philly fans must be hurting right now, bro.
Yeah, because I thought they had one of the better off seasons, and it's just not.
They
It,
did.
it also shows how important their coordinators were. It's so hard, I think, for these teams when they have so much success and like their coaching staff like changes overnight, and it's not just the defensive side of the ball, but it's also the offensive side of the ball. You lose both your coordinators. I I will say I don't understand the move to as a play caller. Like that was kind of crazy of a move for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I don't agree with that. I just don't agree with that because I watched him be a head coach and he's not great at all. And I'm saying that nicely, but that's what I would say is I think that hurt the Philadelphia Eagles losing both their coordinators in an offseason.
Yeah, and that definitely could be the case. But you know, at the same time, these are professional athletes. They just went to the Super Bowl. Excuse me, they
Hmm.
just went to the Super Bowl last year. It's just like, I know it's hard to get to the Super Bowl. The NFL, I feel like, is a very hard. I feel like it's the most difficult sport to reach the to a championship level, correct? Like I feel like out of any sport there
Oh yeah,
is.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. Because it's
So,
not a series.
right. So that's what I'm saying. It's definitely harder, but at the same time, it's the same head coach,
Hmm.
same locker room, same, I understand two different coordinators, but Jalen Hurts now has that experience under his belt. These Philly guys got the experience under their belt, and usually you would think with having that experience would shape you guys heading into the next year with that
Sure.
same mindset, that same mentality. And I just don't see that this year with these guys.
Sure.
It's not a killer mindset, not a killer instinct. You can't lose to the Arizona Cardinals, bro. You just can't do
I,
that.
I I would agree with that. If you're Arizona, just real quick, you're sticking with Kyler Murray, right? Like they're playing really good with since he's been back. I mean, not like really good, but good. Like they've won a couple of nice games since he came back.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins was still on the Arizona Cardinals, the Cardinals are a top team.
They were good.
Kyler Murray was putting up some fantasy numbers, bro. Like he was
Oh yeah, he was.
like Kyler Murray is nasty. It just sucks that he
Hmm.
had injury problems and he doesn't want to study, he doesn't want to watch film.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
no, I really like Kyler Murray a lot. I hope he does good next year. I hope the Cardinals can regroup. I like the Arizona Cardinals. I just hope they, can get on the right track and build around Kyler and move forward from here. So
yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Okay, let's go to our next topic. Again, we don't have to spend a lot of time because we're going to be talking about the AFC and NFC playoff picture, so we might spend a
yeah,
little time on these two teams anyway.
right.
But the Packers, they kind of just wreck the Vikings, and now the Packers are in a position to win and get in. Um, you know, I don't know.
No, you don't like it,
What are
right?
we doing here? What are we doing here? I don't
Bro,
get it.
as soon look, they lost to the Giants, and then they lost to who's the other team?
Oh no, not the Panthers.
No,
Who
they
was it?
almost
They
did.
almost lost to the Panthers.
They lost to they lost to the Giants. They went on a back-to-back game losing streak. Oh, to the no, they beat the Chiefs. I gotta look this up here now.
Yeah, I remember looking at it too
Oh,
because
Tampa
when you
Bay. Yeah, Tampa Bay
that's it.
smacked them
Yep.
at Lambeau. So it's like I was like, oh yeah, the Packers. We thought the Packers were gonna get in the playoffs. I'm like, oh, it doesn't look like they're getting in the playoffs now, Ryan. You know, we were all happy and stuff. And then look at this. They backing it again. They control their own destiny. All they got to do is win next week. They're in.
Yep.
It's just it blows my mind. The Packers are still involved one way or another, Ryan. It just can't we can't get rid of this. We can't get rid of this team.
Mm-mm.
Can't get rid of
No.
the fans. And Jordan
No.
Love, I told you, I showed you the numbers. He's been balling.
Yeah.
I wasn't really expecting too much out of Jordan Love his very first year under center for the Green Bay Packers after Aaron Rodgers dipped to the New York Jets. This kid is oh, they found their quarterback, Ryan. The Packers are dangerous. They're the youngest team. They're hungry. I feel like Matt LaFleur is a great coach. He's showing that. He's proven that. If they can get into the playoffs without Aaron Rodgers, like they couldn't do last year, because this is the same position they were in last year, and Detroit beat them with Aaron
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers.
Yep.
Jordan Love beats the Bears. Their arch nemesis. You know, the Bears got eliminated last year because of the Packers beating the Vikings, but the Bears have been doing pretty good this year too, with Justin
Yeah.
Fields. Like the Bears
Yep.
kind of turned it around. I know they're eliminated, whatever, but the Bears are pretty good. This is going to be a great game. I'm going to watch this game. Is this a primetime game too? Sunday Night Football, or is that
Sunday
the
Night Football is the Dolphins Bills next
Dolphins
week.
Bills game? That's what it was. But this is going to be a good game. I'm watching this Packers Bears game.
I'm with you. I'm gonna watch it too. And what I hope is 2 years in a row, the teams that you beat up on for the entirety of my lifetime, which are the Bears. Well, the Bears had some good moments, but like for the most part, the Packers have owned the Bears and the Lions for the last 20 some years.
Sure have.
And it would be great if back-to-back years they lost to both those teams and were eliminated from the playoffs. So that's what I'm rooting for. I'm not
what
gonna
if,
go.
But what if Jordan Love does it? What if he does win and he gets the Packers into the playoffs? Something Aaron Rodgers couldn't do last year.
Well, the team's a little better this year around Jordan Love.
You
So
think
it's
so?
just like, oh yeah, it's a little better because young guys improve. They got a couple more draft picks. That
Sure.
Jordan Reed guy, I think that's his name. He's a really good receiver that they picked up. Um, the defense is just not that great. So I don't like Joe Barry's defense. Like, but it is funny because I was talking to my boss yesterday about a DJ, and we talked a little bit about like he was listening after the Vikings got wrecked by the Packers, and he was listening to like the Packer fan radio station, and all they were doing was complaining about the Packers. So my boss called in and basically gave us a shout out, particularly me, the fact that we're like the Packer fans need some misery to understand what true misery is because here they are 1 year after giving up their Hall of Fame quarterback with a potential chance to get to the playoffs, with with an opportunity to get to the playoffs, and
Again.
they're complaining. It's like, come on, dude. I get there's things you can pick apart, but like after destroying a division rival, you shouldn't be calling in your TV show a local radio station complaining. You shouldn't be doing that. But of course, Packer fans have been spoiled for the last 40 years. So if it's not, that would be the equivalent of like after the Lions winning the NFC champion and North Championship for the first time since 1993. If I would have called up a radio station and said, "Well, listen, this is trash. This is trash. This is trash." It's like, come on, guys. Like this is a good step for the Packers. Now, I'm not going to go as far as you did talking about how great Jordan Love is and Matt LaFleur because I watched the team, and when you told me those numbers, my eye test my eye test wasn't there. I was like, I've watched mostly every Packer game, and it's just not there. I don't see that out of Jordan Love, that greatness. There's moments of greatness,
Really?
but I just don't. Yeah, I don't
I've
see
seen
it.
a
I
couple
don't see
Packer
it.
games. Aaron Jordan Love got some Aaron Rodgers swagger when he throws when he steps in that pocket. He got like that little, you know, falling down. You know, pressure's coming. He just slings that and connects like that's like Aaron Rodgers esque a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've seen greatness with this kid. He's good.
well, that's what I said. I agree with that part. That like I see some great throws from him, but then he misses a lot of easy ones too. So that's the part where you got to see a little
I
bit
feel like that's
development.
right. But that's what I'm saying. You know, it's his first year under center though, right? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like, I'm not a Packers
the
backer by any means. I have the Packers with all my heart and soul. But I don't know. I've watched and I'm just like, wow, he's good. He can throw. He got an arm.
Oh yeah, he's got an arm, but the thing is like the easy throws are the ones you expect a quarterback like that to make, not the hard ones, right? So, because usually through a development of a quarterback is you see them make the right throws, the easy throws, and then they learn how to make the more difficult throws as they get better and better, right? So you
Doesn't that
kind of
make him
have the
better then? If he can make the hard throws now, I mean, the easy throws are gonna come like that as he
well, no, that's my
develops.
concern. Will the easy throws come? Because if they're not here when they should, like when a development, when you develop a quarterback, it seems to be like, okay, if the easy throws are there, he'll learn how to make, some difficult ones. If you're making some difficult throws, he doesn't make all his difficult throws. Let's be very clear about that. He does make some really good throws, but if you're not making the easy plays, it's like, okay, is that going to develop? Because it's something with like the processing that might not be there. Like he's not processing the game all the time the right way, or he's not using the certain arm angles. It's like sort of like if you're an NBA player and you can make a shot with a hand in your face, but you can never make the wide open shots, right? Like it's like, well, you got to learn to make the wide open shots. Otherwise, you're probably not going to be on the court to make a shot with when someone's hands in your face because teams you got to make your open looks. But um, I guess like I'm
That's a good
impressed with
analogy.
him. I don't want to take away from him. I'm impressed because I didn't think he would be as good as he looks. But I'm still saying I'm not ready to say that he's good. He's great yet. I want to see it
No.
next year.
I'm
Yeah,
saying
it's
he,
stuff like that.
but his numbers don't lie though.
No, numbers do lie. That's the problem. You gotta like watch the like that's my thing is like numbers. Sometimes they tell the truth, sometimes they lie. You got to put it all in context.
Oh
That's my
man.
thing. I feel like numbers. You don't have to feel the same way I do, but I feel like numbers lie sometimes. Like you
Oh
know,
my goodness. Where are
it,
the Packer fans that got to roast Ryan here.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man.
roast me.
I don't know, Ryan. I can't agree with
Mm.
that. You know,
Well, look at Tua for instance.
30
Look
touchdowns
at Tua's
hard to
numbers.
I'm just saying 30
Like look at Tua's
touchdowns.
numbers. If you look at Tua's numbers, they would tell you that
But
he's a
Tua
top
got
five.
the best wide receiver in the game.
No, what I'm saying is, if yeah, but we're talking about just numbers. If you look at Tua's numbers, they would tell you
But that's what
he's
I'm
a
saying.
top
Tua's not
five
getting
quarterback
but Tua's
in
not
the league. But I will tell you, as a Dolphin fan, he is not a top five quarterback in the league.
I agree
So
because
that's why I'm saying numbers lie.
the receivers the receivers that he has though is what gives him those great numbers.
Well, I would say it's more the system, but I agree, like
I'm
to a
not
certain
saying Tua
extent.
doesn't deserve to be top 5 in the he's still got to make those throws, but I agree with you as he's not a top 5 quarterback ever. I'm not saying that with Jordan Love either. But I'm just saying this kid's good and the Packers got something good here because of his numbers, what he's doing right now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll. Yeah, we'll see as he develops. I'll be 100% honest. That could be
Jordan Love
part.
don't got a number 1 receiver. You put Tyreek Hill on the Packers, Jordan Love's having way better numbers than he has now. Way better numbers than Tua does. And he does low key have better numbers than Tua except the yardage.
Yeah, I'm not ready to say that. But I also could be in denial. There is that part of it. But like,
I don't know. I
um,
think Jordan Love is better than Tua.
oh, that's no, you can't say that.
I'm just saying.
This is 1 year.
You put Tua on
I'm
the
kind of
Packers.
curious.
You put Jordan Love on the Dolphins. Jordan Love's winning MVP.
No, because he doesn't make the easy throws. Like the McDaniel's system is about anticipation, making the easy reads.
Jordan Love got a
right?
better arm than Tua does.
Yeah, but that doesn't always mean you're a better quarterback.
I don't know.
Aaron Rodgers has a better arm than Tom Brady.
No, I thought it was no way.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Brady got an arm.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that Tom Brady doesn't have an arm. I'm saying that in comparison to Aaron Rodgers had a better arm.
No, people were saying he was just more accurate.
No.
Than Brady.
Go watch like Jordan. I mean, Aaron Rodgers throwing on the run. Like Brady does not throw on the run the way Aaron Rodgers would throw on the run.
Well, you could say more mobility, but
but that's the arm talent.
But Aaron Rodgers has better accuracy, not a better arm.
No. Yeah,
Brady
he does.
can throw. Brady can throw that. Brady has.
I'm not saying Brady can't. I'm saying in comparison to Aaron Rodgers had the better arm talent.
I don't think he had a better arm strength. He had better accuracy.
Oh, he did. He also could throw the ball probably farther than Brady, and on the run farther than Brady. Arm angles he had better than Brady, but Brady was better because he was a winner. He made the easy throws when he had to.
I just feel like Brady dissected the game better.
I agree with that.
He understood coverages, reads.
Oh, 100%.
Smart man.
Yeah, he like the problem with Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady is Aaron Rodgers always look for like the bigger plays. Like he doesn't always take the easy stuff. Like Brady's like, hey, however I'm going to beat you, I'm going to beat you the way I got to beat you. That's what made Tom Brady so great. He's like, do I have to throw the ball deep? I'll throw the ball deep. If I have to nickel and dime you to death, I'll nickel and dime you to death. If I have to run the ball, I'm going to run the ball. I feel like Aaron Rodgers wasn't that type of quarterback.
Watch that 07 tape with him and Randy Moss when he had a deep threat. Brady was bombing.
Yeah. Dude, I watched the entire season because I hate watch the Patriots. I'm a Dolphins fan.
Okay, so check this out though. That 07 year when he had a deep threat, I'll even go back to the 2011 when he had Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. Brady wasn't the best quarterback over Aaron Rodgers those years. I know Aaron Rodgers didn't play in the 07, but out of all of Aaron Rodgers, all his MVP seasons, Aaron Rodgers was better than that 07 Tom Brady and that 2011 Tom Brady? No.
Let me see. No. Because I'm not saying that he was a better quarterback. I'm saying he had better arm talent. It's different.
But Brady was throwing it with triple coverage teams.
Dude, I'm not saying that Brady didn't have arm talent. I'm saying that in comparison to Aaron Rodgers, Rodgers had better arm talent. You can't I don't know how that's debatable. Like, just watch the games. I've watched basically every Packer game, every Patriot game. Well, not every Patriot game and not every Packer game, but most of them. Most of them, I've watched most of them, and I'm telling you, the throws that Aaron Rodgers makes are ridiculous. They go on ESPN's top 10. That's not always the case with Tom Brady. And it's not because Tom Brady ain't a good quarterback or a great quarterback. It's not because he didn't have arm talent. He just didn't have the arm talent that Aaron Rodgers does. Which is why Tom Brady, the reason why Tom Brady's so great is because he doesn't have all the tools other quarterbacks that do, and he still wins. That's what makes him so awesome. I like that. It's really a compliment. I don't understand why you're so like. I'm not saying he doesn't have arm talent. It's in comparison to Aaron Rodgers. That's all.
I don't know. Okay. Jordan Love's in the driver's seat though to that. Because I see it with Jordan Love.
We'll see it with Jordan. We'll see it with Jordan Love. Yeah. We'll see. I'm telling you, half of me, I think half of this is denial. I'm just in denial as a Lions fan that this can't happen again. But the other half of me, I've watched him play, and there's just sometimes it's just like, oh, that's an ugly throw. That's a bad throw. And it's like easy passes. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Okay, let's go to our next topic. Let's talk about playoffs, man. Let's get into the playoffs because the playoffs. Yeah, playoffs. We talking about playoffs? Just trying to win a game. Okay, let's start with the AFC.
All right.
Okay, so this is what I have as far as playoff scenarios go moving forward in the AFC.
Okay.
The Ravens right now are the 1 seed. That's Clinch. Now, the
Yep.
Dolphins are the 2 seed. And if
Mm-hmm.
they beat the Bills next week, they get the 2 seed.
Mm-hmm.
However, if they lose to the Bills, they are the 6 seed. So they're either going to be 2 or 6 next week.
Mm.
Chiefs,
Mm.
I think, are locked into the 3 seed. The Jaguars, if they beat the Titans, they will be the 4 seed. But if they lose and the Raiders win, they're the 7 seed. But if they lose and the Raiders lose, the Jacksonville Jaguars are out of the playoffs. So those are the top 4 seed scenarios right now. If you're a team, wild card team, who do you want to play in the first round right now?
If you're a wild card team,
Yeah, you're a wild card team. Who is the matchup you're trying to
if I'm
trying
the
to
Chiefs,
get
I don't
in?
want to play Buffalo. And
Okay.
if I'm the Jags, if the Jags clinch the fourth seed, you don't want to play Cleveland because I feel like Cleveland's
Mm-hmm.
going to stomp the mess out the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the matchup, I feel like Buffalo will beat Kansas City and Cleveland will beat Jacksonville if it ends like this. Um, Miami, you better win next week
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to fall to the 7th seed or the 6th seed.
Sixth, yeah.
Yeah, so um,
Well, here's the thing though, if you're the Dolphins,
because
so
because then the Miami would have to play Kansas City, right? If they were to
yeah,
lose.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's you don't want to do that. Miami better.
So
I'd rather Miami play the Colts
yeah,
or
so here's the
Jacksonville.
yeah, here's the thing though, which would be kind of funny because so the if the Dolphins beat the Bills, right?
Yeah,
Guess who your first round opponent might be in? The Bills.
that's what I'm saying.
So you might get the Bills all over again. I'm never a fan of the back-to-back game, especially if you're the winning team. Depending on the team, obviously. But in this case where they have the better quarterback in Josh Allen, I'm just not. If we beat them this coming week, I'm not a fan of playing them in the playoffs. The Colts could jump to the 6th seed though if the Jaguars win and the Bills lose. So that's a very strong possibility. So they might get the Colts in that way. Um,
Gotcha.
the Bills can get the 2 seed if they win, and they will be the 7th seed if the Jaguars win and the Bills lose. Texans is the same. They just got to beat the Colts, and then they got the same outcome. If the Texans beat the Colts and the Bills win and the Jaguars win, they're the 7th seed, but they could also jump to the 6th seed or the 4th seed if the Jaguars lose and the Texans win. So there's still 3 teams that could win the South: the Jaguars, Colts, and Texans.
Well,
So,
well, if it ends like this, and this is the playoffs right here,
mhm.
I got Cleveland over Jacksonville, going to play Baltimore because Baltimore would have to play the lowest seed, right? Remaining,
Yeah, the lowest seed remaining, correct. Yep.
right? So I would have Buffalo. They would be the fourth seed, and then they would play Miami in the second round because I would have Miami over the Colts. Um, and I kind of have Buffalo go to the AFC Championship game, probably against either Cleveland or Baltimore. But if my instincts are correct, Cleveland's beating Jacksonville and Baltimore and going to the AFC Championship game. So it could be Buffalo Cleveland AFC Championship game, Ryan.
That'd be crazy. Who would
And
have
then
picked that at the beginning of the year?
right. Because I just don't see Miami going to the AFC Championship game after these losses, and if they especially if they lose to Buffalo uh,
Well, yeah, and they
next
lost
week.
Bradley Chubb for this season. I
Oh
don't know if you
man,
heard that.
yeah,
So that's rough because now both their pass rushers are out for all the rest of the year.
that's tough.
Yeah, that is tough. Okay, let's go to the NFC side. Let's talk about those scenarios. For NFC, the Niners are in fact the 1 seed. There no other way that can happen. Now, the Cowboys will win the NFC East if they beat the Commanders. That simple.
Hmm.
However, if they lose and the Eagles lose to the Giants, then the Cowboys will still win the East. If they lose and the Eagles win, the Eagles get the NFC East.
Hmm.
So
Which
that's
I don't
that
think that's
scenario.
gonna happen. I feel like
Right.
Dallas got the slack now because Philly choked.
Yeah, agreed. The NFC South, we're still talking about. If the Bucks win, they're in.
Mm-hmm.
But if the Bucks lose and the Saints lose, then the Bucks are in. Uh, let's see here. If the Saints beat the Falcons,
And Tampa loses. That's New Orleans is in.
yeah, Saints are in, and the Falcons can still win the NFC South, believe it or not. They have to beat the Saints and the Bucks to lose to the Panthers. Isn't that crazy? So the
Who do
Falcons
the
could
Falcons
still,
play?
they would be the seventh seed in the playoffs. So they would
No,
play
no, no. Who are they playing week
they're
18?
playing the Saints. So
Oh,
they just have to beat the Saints.
I thought you said if Tampa loses and the Saints lose, Tampa's still in.
Well, wait, and the Bucks lost.
So they would
No,
need
so I must have misspoke. I must have misspoke. So
okay.
the Saints win or Tampa loses or tie to the Panthers and tie. That if the Saints tie the Falcons, then the Saints would still be in the playoffs. But yeah, that's likely not going to happen. So yeah, whoever wins the Saints and Falcons game, all they really need is the Bucks
Tampa.
to lose.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
And one of them will get in.
would be in.
Oh,
Right.
that's cool. Okay. A
Yeah.
lot of drama heading into
Yeah.
the playoffs.
Yeah. Quick, who do you think gets in there? Do you think the Bucks get in
I
there?
got Tampa winning, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Tampa wins it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay. So let's just keep the wild card rolling here. So for the NFC, that's where we're at now. Let me look here. The Packers just need to win to get in. That's it. It's simple.
Yep.
Otherwise, if they lose, they need the Vikings to lose and the Seahawks to lose and the Bucks to lose and or the Saints. So they would need all three of those teams to lose.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm not going to talk about the tie scenarios because tying is like less likely to happen. So interesting. Okay, so that's it. So they just need to win and get in, or they need the Bucks and Seahawks to lose if they lose, or the Saints.
Gotcha.
So yeah. The Seahawks need to win at the Cardinals and the Packers to lose in order to get in. Okay, makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
And the Vikings need to beat the Lions, the Packers to lose, the Seahawks to lose, and the Saints to lose in order to get in.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So that's what's going on there.
So couldn't the Saints still make it even if Tampa wins and the Saints win, but the Packers and everybody else loses? Couldn't the Saints still win? Or could the Saints
So
still
if
get in
the
seventh
Saints,
seed?
yeah. So if the Saints win and the Seahawks lose and the Packers lose, they're in.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So it's gonna be crazy, dude. Gonna be crazy. Crazy weekend coming up. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's talk about. You ready to go to our final topic?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. We're going to talk about the favorite first round wild card matchups. Let's talk about that. What matchup are you most excited about in the first round of the playoffs? If the playoffs started today, if the bracket remained the same, which game would you be most excited to watch?
Probably the Dallas Packers game would probably be my favorite out of everything else. And possibly Kansas City and Buffalo. Those two games. The AFC side would be Kansas City, Buffalo, and then Dallas, Green Bay on the NFC side. It would be amazing if Green Bay beats the Cowboys in the first round. Mike McCarthy loses to the Packers in the playoffs. The first round. Wouldn't that be something?
That would be crazy to me.
Oh man.
Let's see here. I was going to right now to the Lions and Rams would play one another. Stafford going back to Detroit
Lions, Rams,
would be a fun game for me.
Yeah.
Would be a fun game. So I am all for right now that matchup as well. I think that would be fun. And I think Tampa Bay Philly would be interesting because wasn't that the last game that Brady played, Tampa and Philly last year? Who did they lose to last
No, they
year?
lost to Dallas last year.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, never
But
mind. I
Tampa Bay
lied.
did play Philly a
A
couple
year.
years ago in the wild card,
Yeah,
but Tampa
yeah,
won.
yeah. But yeah, KC Buffalo would be fun. I'm with you on that one on the other side. I
Hmm.
think if it stayed the same, I think the Dolphins Colts game would be close, but I think that right now the Browns would run the Jaguars out of town. So I
Yeah.
would say I'm with you. I think Green Bay Dallas would be interesting. I would be excited for the Rams and the Lions, and then the Chiefs and Bills. Those would be the three most fun games to watch.
Yeah. So who do you got? If it ended like this, how's your bracket going into the Super Bowl and who's gonna win?
I would pick Cleveland to beat Jacksonville.
Yep.
I would pick I'd pick Miami to beat the Colts.
Hmm.
Um, Kansas City and Buffalo, man. I'd pick Buffalo
Yeah.
right now.
They're
So
the hotter team right now.
yeah. Buffalo against Miami. I would want to see how the last game they played won, but right now I always go in playoffs best quarterback. I would take Josh Allen and the Bills in that
Against
scenario. And
Miami.
then I would
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then I would take I'd be rooting for Cleveland hard, man, but I think I would take Baltimore. But I think that would be an amazing game, and it would be Baltimore Bills on one side. On the other side, I got Philly, Detroit, and Dallas. And I think Detroit would go back to Dallas and Philly and San Francisco rematch of the last year NFC Championship game.
That'd be
I
cool.
think I would pick, yeah, I'd pick the 49ers to beat Philly,
Hmm.
and I would pick Detroit to beat Dallas.
Yep.
And Dallas and the Niners in the NFC Championship game, and then it'll end up being the Niners in Baltimore. That's what I would have it right now.
Really. So you're
Yeah.
having it to be a Ravens Niners Super Bowl rematch from Super Bowl 47.
Yeah,
Joe
yeah,
Flacco
yeah.
against Kaepernick, the
Yeah.
Harbaugh, the Harbowl
The
or whatever.
lights went out.
Oh
Remember the
man.
lights going out
I
mysteriously?
hope not. I hope it's not Baltimore, San Francisco. That I didn't really like that Super Bowl. I mean, it was cool that the Harbaugh brothers played or coached against each other in the Super Bowl. That was pretty
Sure.
cool.
Well, these are different teams too. Like they're totally different teams now, though, Isaac. So it's not like it's back to back years. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I would love to see, me personally, I would love to see Buffalo in the Super Bowl, or Cleveland in the Super Bowl coming out the AFC.
Hmm.
And I would love to see Detroit. I'm rooting for Detroit. I don't want the Niners. I don't want nobody else. I don't want the Rams, Philly. I mean, I would love Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl, but that's not going to happen. Um, and I definitely don't want the Packers in the Super Bowl. So I'm rooting for Detroit to come out the NFC to save my Super Bowl dreams. That'd be cool if it's Detroit and Cleveland or Detroit and Buffalo in the Super Bowl.
Uh, yeah. If I'm going rooting interest, it's Detroit and Miami. That's what I want to see.
No,
That
that's not
that'd
have
be
you can't have both teams, right? You can
come
only pick
on,
one.
man. Come on.
Oh, Miami's not
Don't
doing
do
it.
that to me.
It's gonna be Detroit though. I think that, especially after how they got screwed over this past week against Dallas. Like Detroit's out of vengeance. They're gonna beat Stafford, the former Detroit sung hero. Gonna
Hmm.
beat Dallas, get their revenge on them, and then smack the 49ers in the NFC Championship to walk into the Super Bowl. Imagine if it's Detroit and Kansas City. Detroit beat the Chiefs week one. That'd be a
Oh,
cool.
how this and it was how the season started too. That was
Right.
the start. Yeah, so the Thursday night game ends up being the Super Bowl. That would be kind of fun. Um,
But I don't think the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. They suck.
no, right? Yeah, unfortunately. Okay,
Yeah.
man. Anything else?
I think that's everything we covered. Except
Yeah,
we
yeah,
didn't cover the draft now. The Patriots got their second pick now, so I'm happy they lost.
yeah. Right now, I think they're sitting at three or four.
No, they got second.
Oh, they're
because
at
because
second.
because Arizona won.
Right, but for some reason I thought Washington was at second.
Are they?
Yeah, I think I heard that Washington was at second.
Let me look right now.
Okay.
Nope, New England got the second.
Okay. Okay. So I thought that was okay.
Yep.
Well,
So the
I was wrong.
Bears got the number 1 pick. Patriots got the second pick. Arizona got the third pick, and Washington got the fourth pick so far. But that could change next
Okay.
week. Hopefully,
Yeah.
New England loses to the Jets, and then we could just lock up that second pick seed,
Yeah.
the second
Yeah.
pick
That
seed
would
in the
be
draft.
yeah, that would be the second pick seed of the draft. Okay, man. Well, thanks for playing hurt today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Gotta
Yeah.
gotta gotta come out for the fans, for the followers, for all the Box Score Sports listeners on
Yeah.
Spotify, and Apple, and on YouTube, man. Gotta do it for you
Yeah.
guys. I did it for you guys, man. Michael Jordan flu game.
Yeah, yeah. I think you did really good, Isaac. So keep up the good work. For everybody else,
Definitely
thanks for
did. I killed
listening.
you. I killed you with that Jordan Love take.
Nah, I don't know about that. It's
Bro, look
up
at the
for
stats. Give Jordan Love. He did good this year, bro. Ain't nobody doing that their
I'm
first
not
year.
saying he didn't do
Coming
good. I'm
after
just
Aaron Rodgers, the arguably the greatest quarterbacks to come out of the Green Bay Packers franchise and NFL of all time, and you put up numbers like that the next year he leaves. I don't know, man. And he could potentially get them in the playoffs. Gotta give that boy his props, man. And I'm not a Packer fan. I hate the
I
Packers.
I'll give him a flower.
I'm
That's what
giving
I'll
him a
do.
bouquet, man, because those are some big shoes to fill, bro. Look at what Mac Jones is doing with Brady. Can't fill those shoes. Jordan Love could fill those Aaron Rodgers shoes because Aaron Rodgers didn't have a lot of success. Yeah, he had stats. Yeah, he was a great talent, but he only had one Super Bowl to prove that. That's easy to fill, Ryan. Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers only had one Super Bowl with that team, a
Hey,
piece.
do,
Jordan
yeah, do you know
Love,
how hard it is to win a Super Bowl? You're so
absolutely,
spoiled as a Patriot fan because you like you
absolutely.
get you get 7 Super Balls and you're like, yeah, if you
But
just
one
win
Super
like more
Bowl
than
is
one,
easy
it's
to
like,
fill,
guys,
Ryan. One Super
no,
Bowl
it's
is easy
not.
to fill. That's
It's not. Tell
six.
Lions,
That's
tell Lions fans that.
six.
Tell Dolphins fans
Six.
that. One Super Bowl is not easy. It's hard.
Well, that's because you guys weren't blessed enough.
Well, that's for
The
certain.
Packers
That's
are
for certain.
always, bro, they're always getting blessed with these quarterbacks.
I'm not ready to concede yet. I gotta see more.
Oh, man. Well,
More.
we will see. If he beats the Bears and gets the Packers in the playoffs, then potentially beats the Cowboys in the wild card matchup, jump for the Cowboys. And then it'll be Cowboys Detroit Lions in that divisional round, right? I don't think you want to see the Packers after that Thanksgiving debacle.
I was talking to DJ about that yesterday. I said, no, actually I don't mind seeing the Packers because I would almost rather see the Packers than the Rams because I don't want the worst quarterback on the field. I'd rather
You
play
guys
the
lost to them though
yeah, but we beat
at
them too.
home.
Yeah, we beat them too. It's
But the
fine.
recent matchup, the Packers are going to go based off that
It's
recent matchup, right?
yes, and you know how
No
many times
inclement weather. It's in
the
a dome.
Dolphins beat the Patriots
That's the problem with
later
you
on into
dome
the season.
teams.
What's that?
I said that's the problem with dome teams though. Like you give any quarterback a chance to beat you because you're not playing in inclement weather.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
I hope so. I'm rooting for the Lions to come out the NFC. I don't want them losing to the Packers, but it just seems like a movie that we've seen before.
That's
The
fair.
seven
That's
seed
fair.
Packers going and winning it all. It's exactly
But
what Aaron Rodgers did.
we'll be okay. We'll be okay. I think we'll be okay.
I hope so.
I'd rather play the. I wouldn't. I don't want to play like if I as a fan. I'd rather not play Stafford. I think that's a super fun matchup, but I'd rather not play Stafford
I think the Lions
because
got
that
that
guy
game.
has won a Super Bowl.
It's true.
So yeah. Okay, man.
All
Well,
right,
for
bro.
everybody listening, thanks so much for joining us. Whether you're joining us live or on the podcast afterward, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, Boxscore Sports, and then for Isaac, his Soury Lemon Twitter, YouTube, and his Twitch.
Absolutely. And we will be
Did I miss
streaming some
anything?
2K too. And I will stream Madden games too. I've tried to add that into my schedule. So you guys can come follow me on Sour Lemon on Twitch and on Twitter as well. But yeah, I think we got everything. And Nutty Buddy too on Twitter.
Yeah. Maybe you can follow him playing Madden. He'll play as Jordan Love.
Yep.
He loves him so much.
No, I don't use the Packers when I play online. Old Red.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry. Okay, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will talk to you all soon.
Bye guys.